All the chairmen and vice chairmen of the 18 local government councils of Edo State are currently under suspension for alleged insubordination after the State House of Assembly last week invoked the provisions of the Edo State Local Government Law 2000. Now, reactions have been plenty, including one from Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Afegbua, who argued that the action of the Edo State House of Assembly in suspending the local government officials was in flagrant disregard to a recent judgment of the Supreme Court on local government autonomy in Nigeria. For a bit more on that, we're now being joined by Kassim Afegbua, a former Edo State Commissioner for Information, a member Edo State Local Government Administrative Panel of Inquiry, and a member of the Edo State Assets Verification Committee. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
All right then. So the panel, receiving this ex parte order, shortly after its inauguration, how does this order affect your ongoing inquiry, and what is the panel's response to allegations of unethical conduct by the plaintiff's counsel?
Thank you very much. The ex parte order, we heard about it like every other Edo person. But for God's sake, in law, you don't give an ex parte order on an issue or on an act that has been completed. The process has been done and dusted. That's the suspension. Then you are now giving an ex parte to reverse the process. Where the state government and the assemblies were not even joined in your ex parte motion. So for us, that's dead on arrival. It has no effect whatsoever on the assignment we have been given. And we are following the relevant laws, the Local Government Law Act of Edo 2000 as amended, and we've taken decisions based on the provisions on that law. Of course, we are aware that the Attorney General made a statement of removal, which is contrary to what we did. The state government and the assembly only suspended for 2 months. That's what the provision of the law says. And the speakers of the House, that is the different legislative arm of the local governments, will preside in acting capacity until the expiration of the 2 months when investigations would have been concluded.
Well, but I know you are talking about these acts, but many of acts. On what legal grounds did Okpebolo actually write that petition to the Assembly accusing, the chairman of refusal to submit financial records of their local government councils to state government in the first place, when there is already a Supreme Court ruling affirming the autonomy and independence of local governments as guaranteed under the 1999 Constitution? Some have described the governor's move as a brazen disobedience of the Constitution. And isn't it true that when a chairman of a local government is accused of misconduct, it is the councillors that are empowered by law to remove them from office by way of impeachment, and not the state assembly or the governor?
You have also committed the same offense or the same flaw that the Attorney General committed by using the word remove. We haven't removed. That's the word, that's the operative word there. We haven't removed. What we have done is suspension for 2 months. Don't forget that the Constitution also gave powers to state assemblies all over the country to make laws for good governance, administration, and structure of local governments. Nobody is contending the fact that the Supreme Court gave a judgment to affirm financial autonomy of all local governments. We are not after local government people's money. We are not. If anything, we want to ensure accountability, probity, and transparency in their conduct. The judgment of the Supreme Court alone cannot, be the only operative judgment or laws that will moderate the operations at the local government level. Where we understood very clearly that there's what they call financial autonomy, by virtue of that judgment. But don't forget that the judgment has not come to destroy every other law that is in existence. Or, if anything, it has come to strengthen it. But the point is, before now, the governors are fond of running what they call JAC, Joint Allocation and Account, of both local government and the executive governors of the state.
All right.
That financial autonomy judgment has eliminated.
I was saying earlier, before you continue, I was saying earlier, before you continue, you were talking about technicality of the word used, remove. It's not just remove. This Lateef Fagbemi says the governors have no right to remove or suspend local government chairman. It's not just about the removal. It's also against the Constitution to suspend them.
Lateef Fagbemi is the law officer of the Federation, but he does not represent the Constitution of the country, and he does not represent other laws made validly under the provision of the Constitution by the Edo House of Assembly. There has been an act in place. That act has not been vacated. When you say you remove, we have not removed, we have only suspended, like I said. If he says he does not have the right, then maybe they will have to invalidate our own Edo Local Government Act. The judgment, like I said, cannot be the only operative law that will superintend over local government in the state. And it is not meant to frighten state government from not checking the operations of the local government. If anything, the idea of running a joint account with local government, I think that is the essential kernel that the judgment has come to remove, which is a welcome development by us. Before now, I give you a typical example what led to this particular one. Before this new governor came on board, local governments in Edo, they used to contribute 800 million naira monthly. They call it environmental security. Only God knows how they spend that 800 million naira monthly. And when you go to the different local government, you don't see anything on ground. It's still the state government and the federal government that run issues of security and what have you. And so the governor, in exercise of his own powers as captured in that act, wrote through the permanent secretary of local government and chieftaincy affairs that 800 million should be stopped because there's no evidence of how you are spending this money. So that infuriated the local government chairman. By the time he invited them for a meeting and told them, they said they are not answerable to him. I think they were misreading the entire judgment of the Supreme Court and the other enabling extant laws, in the state. So for us, we have followed what the Edo Local Government Act stipulates. After 2 months, they will be returned to the office, but at least it will give us opportunity to look into their books. And the Assembly, the legislative arm, are the ones taking charge. We didn't bring anybody on board from anywhere. It's the Speaker of the legislative arm that has taken charge in acting capacity. So nothing has changed.
All right, Kassim. Thanks for the explanation. I have followed what your position is on this matter. I've also followed the position of the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, who, like you, has also been speaking about this controversial decision of the Edo State House of Assembly. I am not sure, though, if either of you is a lawyer, and therefore I'll be wondering why, while I understand as information men why you two are speaking, I'm wondering why the Attorney General of the state is not the one giving clarity on the situation on the ground, or even the or even maybe the chairman of the Judicial Committee of the Edo State House of Assembly, so that it will be clear that what you are saying will suggest that you know law, you understand jurisprudence, you understand the letters of the law more than the Attorney General of the Federation, who said clearly, and I think that's the point that my colleague Oji was trying to make, that it was clear in his statement, that's the Attorney General, Lateef Fagbemi, that governors do not have the right to suspend or remove duly elected local government chairmen. They are elected. Your good self and the CPS to the governor are not elected. Yes, your governor is elected, the House of Assembly members are elected, but so are local government, chairmen that you have suspended. And they do have a degree of autonomy, which is what the Supreme Court judgment grants on them. So when you say that they have been suspended on account of misconduct, don't you think that you are overstepping your bounds, one as executive arm of government and legislative arm of government? Like Sheita said, the Edo State, the local government also have their own assembly, lawmakers to deal with the issues of perceived infractions, if any, that you are raising. But to continue to go with the idea that the Attorney General of the Federation is misguided or ill-informed about the judgment of a Supreme Court. I'm wondering if you have, if you're the right person to be making this allegation.
I think I think you are putting words in my mouth. I'm very particular about the usage of my words. What I said,
yes,
and which formed part of the release I made yesterday, was that the word "remove" from office was not what we did. I insist. We only did suspension based on the enabling law of the Local Government Act 2000 of Edo. Secondly, hello? Can you hear me?
Clear. I understand what you're saying, but let us also be clear about what the Attorney General is saying.
So and the point is that
we're not putting words in your mouth. We're not.
The point is,
yes, go on. Go on, please.
The judgment of the Supreme Court is about financial autonomy, and what informed that was that the government wants to be sending money directly to local governments in their administration, because the practice of governors and chairmen of local government under Algon running a joint account, the presidency who initiated that particular move just didn't feel that was the right thing to do. And for some governors who also allowed local government to operate without interference, they have also seen some level of development at the local government level. But in Edo State, prior to this time, we had a situation where the local government didn't even have access to their own resources. I can say that on good authority, because what we met on ground was different from what they were telling us.
Yeah, but Kassim, just 1 second, Kassim.
The governor's directive and all that.
Just 1 second, Kassim. Yeah. That's actually not the point. Let's stay with the issue of the authority that either your governor or the House of Assembly has to remove a validly elected local government chairman. It's like saying, using your logic, can the president of the country remove or suspend a governor for a misconduct? Using the logic that you're applying here.
We have seen under this democracy, we have seen scenarios where governors were removed and there was an by way of declaration of emergency.
That's the state of emergency situation.
In one other state.
That's the state of emergency situation, which is backed by the law of the federation. Yeah.
No, you can use any word to qualify an action that has been taken. But the point is that there is a law in place, Local Government Act 2000 of Edo, which is still valid. You cannot just use a single judgment.
Yeah, but if it is not consistent with the constitution of the country, will it be regarded as being valid? If it's not consistent with the constitution which the Supreme Court has interpreted,
no, because you have forgotten. You have forgotten that the Constitution gave powers to state assemblies to make laws for good governance, structural administration of local government. Have you forgotten?
Yes.
So the Constitution cannot capture every aspect, of law for local government. So the state assemblies are empowered by the same Constitution you are quoting to make laws for good governance of the local government level. Yes. And so in pursuant of that, the Assembly made the law they call the Edo Local Government Act 2000, which has been in operation. It has not been validated. Yeah, we are not competing. Yes.
You can't deny what we're looking at, almost seeming like a federal interference. Looking at the suspension in itself undermining the autonomy of, the local government as guaranteed by the Constitution and affirmed by the Supreme Court. But I want us to actually touch on the scope of the inquiry. What are the specific objectives of this, the administrative panel? How does it plan to address the alleged insubordination by the suspended officials? Were the chairman and the vice chairman given an opportunity to respond to the allegations against them before they were suspended? And if you look at the public perception of this, in maintaining that fairness and transparency in the investigation that is going and the expected recommendations that is expected to be given at the end of this. So what about the investigation in itself?
Well, don't forget that even the EFCC has stepped in. They are already investigating them. And our own administrative panel is to look at a few of the complaints. Don't forget that as government, they have access to different kinds of information. The suspended chairman will be invited. Issues will be presented before them. We'll hear from their perspectives. We have met with quite a number of the structure at the local government level, the head of the local government administration and the treasurers and all of that. We'll look into their books and be able to establish, correlate between what we know before and maybe new findings. If they are not culpable by any stretch of imagination of the issues examined, they will definitely be returned to the office. So nobody has removed them. It's just a suspension to allow for investigation. So when you say I cannot deny the fact, I don't know what you mean by whether you are reading my mind differently. The point must be made that there's an existing law in the state. And when you say autonomy, please define it. It's financial autonomy that the Supreme Court judgment has given to the local government.
Well,
and there are other areas, aspects of their life that,
The point is any law that is not consistent with the Constitution is void. Would like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show this morning. Thank you so much.
How do you
Unfortunately,
explain a situation where the Constitution also gives power to the local government to make laws? It's there in the Constitution. So
thank you so much,
that
Mr.
Constitution has
Kassim.
not been validated.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time and, of course, your submissions this morning on the morning show.